This is chapter 7, Stowaway. It's called Revenge. The roar of waves drowned out Carlito's cries as he clung to the branch. For many minutes he wept and shook his head with disbelief. Why? Why? He sobbed. Ziba rubbed his friend's arm, trying to comfort him while coaxing him out of the tree. Carlito, we can't stay here. They'll find us. Come. They hid in the woods. In the distance came the thuds of cannon fire, an occasional explosion. Carlito had stopped crying, but his heart was so heavy he could not speak. They were near the grove of butterflies. Wings of black and orange fluttered into view as the boys ran. Ahead was a stray horse, dragging its reins. Ziba helped Carlito into the saddle, then leaped up behind and took the road to Mission San Juan Bautista. Carlito felt sick in his soul because he suddenly realized that he must tell Mama. When he saw her standing by their carreta, his eyes filled. She was overjoyed to see him. Mijo, mijo, she cried, lifting the edge of her skirt to run to him. But as she saw his sorrow, heard his broken words, she covered her face with her hands. Friends instantly surrounded her, some pleading with Carlito for details, but he could say no more. Theo Roberto, who had stayed with the family when Carlito turned up missing, pulled the stricken boy into his arms. There was much weeping that day, for word came that 2 more husbands had been killed, fathers of Carlito's friends. Late afternoon, the families gathered in the mission chapel to be consoled by Padre Rodriguez, but they were interrupted by the rumble of galloping hoofs. Spanish soldiers escorted Governor Sola, who brought terrible news. All is lost, the governor cried. Paretas have captured Monterey, our beautiful Monterey. From his saddlebag he brought out the only thing he was able to save, the archives. When he held the rolled parchments to his chest, the gentle governor lowered his head and sobbed. Carlito and Ziba walked along the broad stream that flowed beyond the mission. Several younger boys followed them, splashing through the water and hoping to hear more about the murder and about the pirates. I'm going to avenge my father's death, Carlito said without looking at the faces turned toward him. He held a smooth stone in his hand. Remembering stories the Padres told, David slew Goliath, I will slay the red-haired man. In the middle of the night, Ziba, Carlito, and 4 others slipped into the woods, untethered their horses, and rode bareback to the edge of Monterey. They hid among the dark trees. Torches planted in the sand made the village glow. There was drunken laughter as the thieves ransacked each home and shop, then stumbled to the beach, arms full. One by one, the ship's boats sailed out to the Argentina and Santa Rosa. Loaded with small personal treasures the Montereyans had been able to rescue. Damage to the Santa Rosa was above the waterline, so it had not sunk. The Sandwich Islanders were no longer half naked, for they had found chests of fine Spanish clothing. The boys were enraged to see these huge men wearing their mothers' dresses and shawls, their lace mantles. Dainty satin shoes had been tied together to make necklaces, and men's pantaloons were wrapped around their wide waists. Several wore children's sombreros, which resembled tiny cups on their heads. Theo, to Carlito, such a giant was not as frightening as before. On the ship's lantern, on the ship's lantern light cast shadows of men carrying aboard their booty. They fired guns in the air, hoping to keep away the villagers. Every few minutes a cannon boomed, followed by a deep splash. The boys dozed in the tree. At dawn they were awakened by Scottish bagpipes, a drum, and a fife. To their amazement, a victory band marched along the cold beach, led by 2 bare-chested pirates carrying flags. One flag was red, meaning no quarter, that Spaniards were forbidden in Monterey. The other was black with a white skull. As the musicians paraded into town, Carlito made his plan.